Are you considering a move to East Tennessee, but you can't decide between Knoxville and Chattanooga? Well, I'm Jessica Scholl, your Chattanooga expert. I'm here with Aimee from Knoxville, and we're here to help you make an informed decision.
We're gonna break down everything you need to know about these two really great cities, from housing to lifestyle, weather, and climate. So let's take a deeper dive now.
Chattanooga real estate couple. We sell houses.
So before we get into it, if I can be honest with you, before meeting Aimee, I would tell people that Knoxville was a college town. But after meeting Aimee and following her and all the information she gives to her clients, I've learned it's actually a fun city that I want to go visit. And a lot of clients do have to make a tough decision between Knoxville and Chattanooga.
Luckily, they get the both of us, and which is amazing because we're finally in one room together. In order to spread your search even further, you can have the both of us working for you, finding the right home, and really deciding which city you can envision yourself living in.
And so let's talk about prices. When a lot of people move to Tennessee from a different state, they're looking at the sales price, they're looking at the property taxes, and obviously it's more affordable. So what's the average sales price in Knoxville?
Knoxville has risen quite a bit in the past 5 years. We've had the fastest rising property taxes in the country.
Wow.
We're talking about a whopping 83%, which is even higher and has surpassed Naples, Florida. Prior to COVID, it was about $180,000 for a home. Now it's $375,000, and that's not even getting into the most desirable areas.
Wow. In Chattanooga, the average sales price year to date is about $385,000. So we're basically around the same. So at that price point, can they get a good size home?
$375,000 is tough. We're talking about a starter home. And those who are first-time home buyers, we both know it's very hard to get in. And now with the new real estate rules, we're talking about down payment, closing costs, and now realtor fees. It's tough. I think that they get a lot more options when they want more land when it comes to Chattanooga.
So the average days in the market in Chattanooga is around 45 days. In our market, I will say, even though inventory is low, it's a seller's market, but buyers have more buying power. So with that being said, homes are still being sold for 98% of the list price.
That's pretty amazing. Days on market really vary. I think right now in 2024, not to get political, I see a lot of apprehensive buyers and apprehensive sellers who are trying to wait until election's over and trying to hold off until 2025. But we both know that if you can afford to buy, don't wait. We don't hold the crystal ball. We don't know what interest rates are going to look like. And if interest rates come down, prices go up, competition gets harder, meaner, and during COVID, people were going way above asking price.
One thing that I think Knoxville might have over Chattanooga is that a lot of people do Airbnbs there. Am I right?
Okay, first of all, we do have the Great Smoky Mountains, so we have a lot of Airbnbs. But yes, Chattanooga definitely has some really cute homes in downtown Chattanooga, where the Great Smoky Mountains is more like an hour away. I do love our location overall as Knoxville and Chattanooga together. We're about a 2/3 away from the entire population of America within a day's drive. So it really makes it super interesting and just a great place to live.
And so talking about housing market, something that goes with that is the cost of living. In Chattanooga, the cost of living is about 10% lower than the national average.
But we're 13% lower.
And so when we talk about cost of living, we're talking about utilities, we're talking about groceries, we're talking about transportation. And honestly, to put things in perspective, I live about 10 minutes from downtown. I just paid my utility bills, and my water was like $22 and my gas was $24. And that was for the last month, which is just wild to me.
I think we get a lot of influx from other states like Illinois, Florida, New Jersey, California, obviously, and New York. I like to break things down by property taxes. How much are property taxes in Chattanooga? Could you give me kind of an estimate or an average?
I don't have to look that up.
Our property taxes really vary in Knoxville. It's really important to get in the county tax. County and city tax will drive it up, but people get so shocked because you can actually find a home and the yearly property tax is about $800. It's pretty amazing. Now, if you're looking in places like Maryville or Oak Ridge, those taxes can get in the 2000s and up, depending on the size of your home and the price point, and then obviously they get assessed every year. So I'd still say that East Tennessee is definitely great for those looking to save money for travels or to buy a bigger home. It's really nice.
I should have gone first on that one. But so the average property tax in Chattanooga, like she said, the city and county does add up. If you get both, it's best if you just pay county. So I would say about ours is like 2,000 to 3,000, and if you get into the higher range neighborhoods, you can get up to the 5,000.
But if you're just trying to keep your monthly payment low, you really just want to look for county taxes, try and avoid city taxes, try and find a property with no HOAs, and then, you know, talk with your realtor, like one of us, to get you some competitive insurance rates too, because those all get tied into your monthly mortgage.
When we talk about people moving to our areas, it's usually mostly because of a job or family, but let's talk about jobs real quick. So the manufacturing makes up about 14% of the economy for Chattanooga. That includes a Volkswagen, that includes Coca-Cola bottling and McKay Foods. The second thing that makes up Chattanooga's economy is obviously the healthcare industry. We have some big hospitals like Erlanger and CHI Memorial.
Knoxville's economy is booming. We have so many things to thank, especially the University of Tennessee. Our unemployment rate is really low. We're talking about under 4%.
Wow.
We get a lot of people who are moving because they're working at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, Y12. We have people who come work at Smith & Wesson, even Altered State for those young girlies who love our clothing. Property taxes there are super low because they're actually leaning on tourism.
Wow.
Which is really nice for those who live there. And if you live in Sevier County, you get all the perks of going to the attractions at a much lower rate.
The Chattanooga population as of 2024 is almost 190,000, which makes us the 4th biggest city in Tennessee.
We are the 3rd largest city. We were barely scratching the surface at 200,000. From my friend who's an attorney in land use and zoning, he told me we're above 500,000 in population, which is crazy to me. We still have this small town feel. We don't have the big city vibes, and trust me, like, I'm a city girl, so when I go to Chattanooga, I'm like, oh, tall buildings, it's so nice.
While we're talking about job opportunities, especially during the COVID years from 2020 to 2022, people were able to work from home. That gave a lot of people opportunity to move to states that they have different opportunities for, whether it be no state income tax, finding a place with beautiful sceneries. So with Chattanooga having the fastest internet, a lot of people could work here remotely.
We love when people work remote. What I'm trying to see now, as far as trends go, is that we need to find homes that have a home office, sometimes for a mom and dad. And now with baby boomers, because my mom's a baby boomer, they tend to not ask for help. They're very stubborn in their ways. And so when I'm working with families, we're looking for multi-generational homes. A home that really helps the parents, the kids, and also can cater to grandparents. Homes large enough to work from home and homes that cater to multi-generations.
Great point. So let's talk about weather. A lot of people that are maybe from different states and have not visited Tennessee are wondering what's it like living here. We get 4 distinct weathers. We get not so cold winters. If you're especially from the north, you don't have to worry about snow where we live in Chattanooga. But in the spring, it's beautiful, it's green, it's lush. In the summer, it gets hot and humid, but nothing unbearable like Florida. And then in the fall, it's beautiful. Obviously, it's orange. The trees change colors. What about Knoxville?
I love the 4 seasons. It is such a beautiful thing to share with people who are moving. I think people looking for milder climates like you touched on, or people from Florida that are just like, I don't want to go north, I actually want to stay middle. And they always are aiming for like a mountain view. And so you don't think about it when you're shopping for a cabin in the summer, but during the winter, it can be really tough on you and your guests if you're using it as an Airbnb. For those of us in West Knoxville, it does snow, but by the next day it melts. So that's really nice.
Same for Chattanooga. If we get snow, which I always hope we do, it usually melts by that evening or even the next day. So let's talk about some of the fun things to do in our cities, whether you're visiting or even as a local.
We talked about sports, and we have so many great teams in Knoxville and so many opportunities. Like, it's September now, and in October you can still go out and watch the One Knox soccer game, which is pretty amazing. Not to mention the Smokies that are out in Kodak. We're building a stadium in downtown, and it's gonna be so much fun. But we love our collegiate, football games, our baseball games. They just won the World Series.
And for Chattanooga sports, we have the Chattanooga Lookouts. They're getting a new stadium built too. And we also have like 2 different pro soccer teams. We have the Red Wolves, we have the Chattanooga Football Club. So even though we don't have big games like UT, there's still a lot of sports to watch in Chattanooga.
We love sports in general.
We will also say we both play pickleball. So there's a lot of pickleball activities going on in our cities. For Knoxville and Chattanooga, there's a lot of outdoor things to do. And so when people look into Chattanooga, they look to go rock climbing, they look to go kayaking down the Tennessee River. What about Knoxville?
I think what I love most is driving on an interstate and then looking to the right and left and then seeing the lakes. We have Norris Lake, we have Douglas Lake, we have Loudon Lake.
And in Chattanooga, we have the Chickamauga Lake, we have Watts Bar, which she pointed out earlier, yes, Watts Bar is in the middle of the two cities. So when you look for homes, we have access to both MLSs, and so we can help you with that.
I love Chattanooga. I love visiting Lookout Mountain with my family. I love riding the tram, getting ice cream at the bottom. I love going to Ruby Falls. The aquarium in downtown is really neat.
As a local, I still love doing all these things that people are visiting for. Like, my favorite thing to do is go to Point Park on Lookout. I have a membership to the Tennessee Aquarium. I love going to Rock City, especially during Christmas time.
I think anyone, anywhere, should always be a tourist in their own city.
What are your top 3 things you would tell people to do on a weekend?
For me, it's actually a parking garage off Gay Street. It's free. It's park on the rooftop. It's just a really neat perspective. For someone who loves being in the city, I get to be on a rooftop and I get to see that, and it just kind of fills my cup.
When someone's in town, something I do, Rock City. It's one of those must-have. Kids can enjoy it, adults can enjoy it.
Second thing, again, more personal to me. I love being downtown. I love being on Gay Street. I love being in Market Square. They have great farmers markets. We have Old City, which is amazing too. Obviously, we cater to a lot of collegiate kids, and we have a bit of a nightlife, but we also have a very sophisticated dining experience.
Number 2 for Chattanooga is Point Park. You have to pay a small fee to get in this park, and at this point of Lookout Mountain, you can see the Tennessee River, you can see downtown, all the different ridges and mountains around. So honestly, my favorite view of Chattanooga is from right there.
Her stories are amazing. I've seen some really gorgeous views. Okay, number 3, if you're coming to Knoxville, I have a daughter who's 5, and there is the Knoxville Zoo and the Muse. The Muse is really amazing because we focus on STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And you know those bright lights? They have a big one, so kids can play with it. They have vegetables. That's really fun for the kids to do. Older kids, iGEMS Nature Center is amazing. It's also in downtown. We have a lot of hiking trails, but you can also go kayaking, nature trails, ziplining. So it's all in downtown.
I'm going to put 3 and 4 together. So another great thing about Chattanooga is the pedestrian bridge. You have to go to Coolidge Park. You have to walk over it. That's one of my, I guess, second favorite view of Chattanooga. One that we probably do regularly, at least 2 or 3 times a month, honestly. Well, here's my number 4, is after you walk across the bridge is go into the Tennessee Aquarium. It is awesome. I used to, when I lived in Nashville, would come down here, and I had a birthday, my friend took me there. It was my favorite thing. So let's jump into nightlife. How's Knoxville like at night?
Nightlife, listen, you know, I'm on a mission to find the best espresso martinis when it comes to being in downtown or just in Knoxville in general. I go out and we have a good time, but you really want to get there early, probably closer to like dinner going out at 8 p.m. and then you're back in your car and like wrapped up before midnight.
That sounds perfect. I'm sold. I am a little bit older in the fact that at least I feel like it. I don't know what people do, but if I had to give you some cool suggestions, Whiskey Cowgirl looks like an awesome time. If I was in my early 20s, I would 100% ride that bull. They even have a pool outside, so it was one of the few bars, actually maybe only bar in Chattanooga with a pool there. Another cool bar is called Unknown Caller. What's really cool about this place is you go in, they have this phone, and you have to press the right number for you to be let in, and it's such a cool vibe inside. But I will say there's new places coming up, and it's just a cool place to hang out, but probably wraps up early too. My kind of town.
We do have one, the Peter Kern Library in the Oliver Hotel. Really neat. You gotta go through the back alley, and the vibe is just, it's dark, it's sophisticated, it's sexy. We have breweries. You guys probably have like Yeehaw Brewery, like just a great place to hang with your dog, with your kids, watch the football game, and just be casual.
If you want a chiller nightlife in Chattanooga, there's a couple of cool spots you definitely want to check out. In the Kinley Hotel, there's a speakeasy. The only way to get through is if you can talk to a staff member, and they will take you behind the bookshelf. Very small, very intimate, very cool. Another great spot is Whiskey Thief, which is in the Edwin Hotel. When you're on the rooftop, you can see the pedestrian bridge lit up at night. It's a great, cool spot. So let's talk about schools. In Chattanooga, we have some top-rated public schools, but we also have plenty of private schools to choose from for the people that want to go that route. And then for the colleges, we have UTC, which is an extension of Knoxville. We also have the Southern Adventist University and Covenant College, which is on top of Lookout Mountain.
When it comes to education, what we don't really talk about often is the Tennessee Promise. If you live in Tennessee, the Tennessee Promise is that they'll give you basically a 2-year free ride on college tuition. That's huge. Obviously, we have UT, or the University of Tennessee, so I'm not gonna even go down there. But when it comes to picking out schools for your kids, I'm always like, do they do any extracurricular activity? Do they love sports? Are they in dance? Are they more academically inclined? Because those all are gonna play a factor. But when it comes to college, for example, huge like scouting and prospecting happens through Maryville High School and Alcoa High School. Wow. And those games and the rivalry is strong. So when it comes to Alcoa versus Maryville in football, you almost have to get like season tickets. And they've even had it televised before in the past.
So Baylor and McCallie, the blue and the red of Chattanooga, very much like there's a waiting list already for this year's game. It is huge, and then leading up to the football game, the students will put banners all over town. It's either a red B or a blue M. And you know what? It brings a lot of excitement. A lot of people from, who don't watch football, but they know it's an event in Chattanooga, and it's really fun to be a part of. When we have different people coming to visit and buying homes here, what's always interesting to me is learning about their state and what's different. For example, people in Colorado only buy homes on one side of the street because the sun hits the snow and it melts faster than the other side. And so I have people that are moving from Atlanta because they want a slower pace of life, or people from Arizona that just want grass in their yard. So what do you hear when you talk to your clients?
I had a client sell their $1 million property and move out of Tennessee or Knoxville for the first time and move to Arizona, and they couldn't just view properties on their own. Everything in Arizona is gated. Wow. So they need a realtor to come, give them access. And so I like that about Tennessee. I like that we are rarely have any gated communities.
And a lot of people, when they look for homes and they have a list of 20, a lot of will do drive-bys before they send us the final list to see. So that's interesting to hear that people can't do that in a gated community.
That's a really great tip actually, is to go drive by the homes if you come earlier before you meet with your realtor. Some of my clients are like, I wish I could pay that photographer lots of money. Here are some of my pro tips. When you're buying a home, because I'm gonna go off on tips, we love tips. I always tell my buyers, you can see the photos online, but you don't really know the floor plan. So take your phone out and record a video. Luckily, everything's digital. If the home is not for you, you can always delete it. Come on a weekday, not on a weekend, so you can get a sense of traffic. It's okay if it's raining, because then you can see if there are any flaws or defects with water intrusion, water damage. Unfortunately, Knoxville is kind of behind the times. Agents don't really invest the time to get good marketing and good professional photos, and they really like to cut out maybe eyesores around the neighborhood, including power lines.
Yeah. Especially with today's day and age, people are able to hide those and edit those and stage, which staging is great, but sometimes it can hide other things.
I think a lot of people love on Tennessee, but they don't know where to go. Tennessee is actually a very long state. We're landlocked by about 8 states, and so we have West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and East Tennessee. East Tennessee is really, really great. It's where we live on, and even though we're so close, we are still yet so far. If you're buying, what's great about agents pairing up together is you get more options, and the more specific you are on your wants and needs, the better we can cater to you. It doesn't hurt my feelings if they find a home in Chattanooga. In fact, that's what we want for you. Our end goal is that you come here, you envision yourself here, and you end up loving where you live. I don't know, I think to me that's the ultimate goal, and that's how I get fulfilled as a realtor. That makes me so happy.
So we went over a lot of things about Knoxville versus Chattanooga and East Tennessee, from housing to lifestyle to community. And if you are leaning towards Chattanooga after doing all your research, or just have more questions about the city, feel free to shoot us a DM and we'd be happy to get with you and answer those questions. And huge thanks to Aimee Lee Lucas from Knoxville for educating me and giving you insights about the city. And be sure to follow her at Aimee Lee Lucas on Instagram, and follow us at Chattanooga Real Estate Couple.
Chattanooga real estate couple. We sell houses,